We begin with breaking news. The mayor of Arcadia has agreed to plead guilty to being a foreign agent spreading Chinese propaganda.
我是王爱玲，我是2022年 Arcadia 第3区市议员候选人，我将致力于为。
Worked alongside her fiancé Mike's son, who also previously pled guilty to espionage charges.
The mayor of a California city pled guilty today to being a spy for the Chinese government. Her name was Eileen Wang. She was the mayor of Arcadia, California. Population 53,000, and it's about 13 miles outside of Los Angeles. And buried in the court documents, and buried in the actual plea agreement that she signed, is a line that I haven't been able to stop thinking about. A Chinese government official sends her an article, and she publishes it on her website. And within minutes, the official responds, and she replies. These are her exact words in writing to a Chinese government official. Thank you, leader. So the mayor of an American city is calling a Chinese Communist Party official leader. I want to make sure that we all understand what we're looking at here. Arcadia is a city in Los Angeles County. It's majority Asian. About 60% of the residents are actually Asian, and there's a large Chinese American population. It's known as a quiet suburb. It's got a horse racing track, and it's got good schools. Eileen Wang got elected to the city council in November 22 and became mayor on a rotating basis at that point. And before she ran for office, starting around late 2020 through 22, she and a man named Yaoning's son were operating a website called U.S. News Center. It looked like a local news outlet for Chinese American community. Well, it was not a news outlet. According to the Justice Department, it was a propaganda operation run at the direct instruction of Chinese government officials. They would receive content from Beijing via WeChat, pre-written articles, talking points, specific narratives that the Chinese government needed amplified to the American readers. And within minutes, the Department of Justice specified this part. Wang and Son would publish it. In one case, a Chinese official sent them an essay pushing back on reporting about Xinjiang. What is Xinjiang? Well, it's the place where the Chinese government has put over 1 million Uyghur Muslims into detention camps. And the article that Wang was asked to publish said in plain English, there's no genocide in Xinjiang. There's no forced labor. And anyone saying otherwise is spreading rumors to try to defame China. Wang? Well, she published that. And then she sent the official a screenshot showing the article had been viewed 15,128 times. The official replied back, "Great." And Wang said, "Thank you, leader." Now, her lawyers put out a statement today, and I want you to read it to you because I think it deserves a little moment of genuine reflection. Her lawyer said that she was led astray by the trust and love for apparently the wrong person. The wrong person being Yao Ning's son, her fiancé, and her co-conspirator. Son, he's currently serving a 4-year federal prison sentence for being a Chinese government agent. And who was also, and I want to make sure I have this right, the listed treasurer of her 2022 election campaign? Well, the man who ran her campaign for city council, the man who helped elect her to office, the man she was engaged to and wanted to marry. Well, he was a convicted Chinese government agent. And her defense is this: I just loved him. I'm not saying that's not possible. People get deceived by people they love. I get it. But what I am saying is this. At some point, you have to decide when a Chinese government official sends you an article on WeChat and asks you to publish it on your news website, and then she decided to do that within minutes, and then she sent him a view count, and then she sent him a thank you letter. So there's a detail in the timing of today's announcement that most outlets are mentioning briefly, and then moving past. The plea agreement was reached in April. It was unsealed today. Well, what happens tomorrow? Donald Trump flies to Beijing on Wednesday for talks with President Xi. So let's be real. There's no coincidence in this timing. The Justice Department chose today, the day before Trump's trip, to make this case public. And what do we know? We know that the Chinese government has now successfully placed at least one agent as a sitting elected official in an American city. And that the operation that was run here between 20 and 2022, that Wang was in the third person connected to a very specific network, and she pled guilty to being part of that network. So again, Sun, he got 4 years. John Chen, he's got 20 months, and Wang is now facing up to 10 years. So 3 people, 1 network, and 1 city just outside of Los Angeles. And this brings me to this question and why nobody is covering this story and asking the clear questions. How many Eileen Wangs are there in the United States? Not in Arcadia specifically, I mean how many local elected officials across this country are operating websites or running community organizations or sitting on school boards or mayors of small towns? And how many of them are receiving direct directives via WeChat from people that they call leader? So Arcadia, it has 53,000 people. It's, again, majority Chinese. It's an American population, and it was, for some reason, a target for China. Pretty obvious why. Los Angeles County has 10 million people in it, and California has 40 million. And the FBI just told us in their own statement today that they're actually still investigating this and that this isn't a closed case. So the Chinese are now picking these peripheral cities around our major cities to try to get influence. And I don't say that to be alarmist. I say that because the answer to that question, how many more? Is this the only one? Well, that matters. Not that the sentencing matters. Who cares? Not that the resignation of her matters. It doesn't. Not that the statement from the city manager saying that no finances were affected. None of that matters. The question is what this operation looked like everywhere else that it may be running presently, and whether we have any real idea of how many cities this operation has reached. So Wang again resigned this morning before the announcement was made public. She'll formally plead guilty in the coming weeks, and somewhere in Beijing right now, there's a government official who once received a message that said, "Thank you, leader," and knew exactly what that meant. So share this, because this story deserves more than one news cycle. And if you've yet to subscribe to America First Alerts, you can do that right here. Just press that button, and we have a few other stories that you should definitely check out right there. We'll see you in the next story.